So some things just need to be said about taking responsibility for one's sexual behavior, maintenance, and parenting. So here goes. One night of raw sex comes with a possible 18-year financial obligation and 18 years of contact with an ex. Men have to stop blaming women for everything, and our government has to stop pandering to patriarchy and toxic masculine culture. The worst is that many of these men have themselves been raised by single mothers and know how it impacted on their mother and on themselves. So instead of changing their behavior, they perpetuate it while praising the single mother for her superwoman qualities. Men do not want us to talk about these issues. And when we talk about them, they try and bully and shame us into silence so that they can carry on their wicked ways. Men and women are so quick to criticize the woman for sleeping with deadbeats, for not waiting until marriage, for not taking precautions, or even trying to catch somebody, trying to keep somebody, and then for looking for a paycheck, and many more. Very seldom do men and some women hold men accountable for their sexual behavior. But what they fail to realize is that the woman takes responsibility for not preventing a pregnancy. She carries this baby for 9 months. She gives birth. She feeds the child and provides all the other needs. She has to take time off work if she's lucky enough to have a job. Her body changes. The shape. Her boobs ache when the baby cries. Her boobs sag and then ache again when she stops feeding. Let's talk about the mummy tummy. Never mind the sleepless nights when the baby is sick and then have to get up the next day and do it all again. She carries all the risks, including to her own health. She takes responsibility until the child is an adult. What does he risk? Demanding that a woman has an abortion is a violation of a constitutional right to have autonomy over her body. And until the fetus is born and takes its first breath, it is part of her body, and it's her choice if she aborts or not. This is a form of sexual abuse, and men need to take responsibility for their own sexual behavior. And if they do not want to father children, then they need to take the precautions to prevent the remotest possibility of a child being the result of sex, instead of blaming the women because they want raw sex. The woman that does eventually take a man to court, she does so after she's begged him, been humiliated and abused enough times, and given up trying to do it amicably. And even then, many give up because of the structural abuse. The woman phoning the man incessantly or arriving at his house or work or contacting his family is because she's either desperate or tired of him ignoring her request to assist financially. The comments flow fast and ruthlessly about women being bitter because he's moved on, he's with somebody else, or that he dumped her. He might have dumped her, but you know what? He also dumped the child. And considering that nearly 70% of children are growing up without fathers, are all of these mothers bitter? Another common response is, don't have sex if you can't afford a child. Men don't even think about the possibility of a child. They're just satisfying their lust because they think they can demand that the woman has an abortion. And then when she refuses, for whatever reason, the man says, I did not sign up to be a father. I mean, can you imagine? And she must not ask him for money. Why does he not have a vasectomy or condomize every single time if he's that sure he did not want to be a father? And before you all shout, but why did she not? She is. And while all of this is going on, she says, you don't even see your child. And he normally replies with one or more of the following. I told you I want nothing to do with the child. You want to spend the money on yourself. Can you imagine? 500 Rand? I told you not to ask me for money. Give me the child. I don't work for you to have my money, and I've got debt to pay. Ooh, favorite one. I just bought a new car, or I just got married. This is why she approaches the maintenance courts. She's tired of being abused. And then guess what? She thinks she's going to get assistance from the court. What she does not realize is she is just entering another battleground, one that is steeped in patriarchy and stacked against her. But she will fill in the forms, and then the courts will issue a directive, which is just an invitation to appear at the maintenance courts. And this does not carry any punitive action. It's kind of like not turning up at a birthday party you did not want to attend in the first place. So they will just issue another directive. And depending on the mood of the official, he might send a third one if the second one is also ignored. Or if he's in a really bad mood or he does his job properly, he'll send a subpoena. So if he still doesn't appear in court after receiving a subpoena, which is common, then a warrant of arrest will be issued for contempt of court, for not appearing on said date. Here again, they might be arrested, and that depends on SAPs, on their mood, or guess what? Might just disappear into thin air. They might be held, if they are arrested, until their court appearance, or they, in all likelihood, will just be released and warned to appear in maintenance court on the determined date. This notion that defaulters get arrested for not paying maintenance is absolute rubbish. The Department of Justice does not want to criminalize maintenance matters, even though there is a jail term and or a fine for not adhering to a maintenance order. And that is a joke for another day. When this topic comes up, there is an outcry from mostly men like, what good is it to have a person arrested? Because shame, he's going to get a criminal record, or he won't be able to get a job, or how is he supposed to work while he's in jail and then he can't pay maintenance? He was not paying in the first place. He didn't care while he was not paying, or he didn't care while he wasn't appearing in court. And they're not arrested for not paying maintenance. They're arrested because they don't respect the law. Never mind not giving two hoots about the child. And the courts are mainly a joke. When they are held accountable for not respecting the laws, shame. They're the poor victim of an unjust system. The odds are still stacked very heavily against women in a very patriarchal society. We have to teach our girl and boy children differently so that we can change this.